Ladies and gentlemen, President William Ruto has hinted out on transforming Kenya into the status of Singapore. I want to take you through the stages or the steps that Singapore went through until it became a world-class economic powerhouse. And my question is it possible to transform Kenya into the status of Singapore? The answer is very simple. Yes, Kenya can be transformed to the status of Singapore. But surprisingly, not under the leadership of President William Ruto. It can be transformed to the status of Singapore, yes, but not under William Ruto. I'm going to take you through the steps in which Singapore went through to become what it is today, and why I strongly believe that the leadership style of President William Ruto does not add up to that status. Let us dive in. This is a very long video. Please, I'm urging you to watch this video to the end because it is very important and educative. These are the steps. Number 1, strong and visionary leadership. After independence in 1965, Singapore had no natural resources, high unemployment, and ethnic tensions. Its founding Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, led with a clear vision. Build a clean, efficient, corruption-free, and globally competitive nation. Leadership was firm, consistent, and long-term, not focused on short-term election cycles. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard, Singapore was sunk in corruption and so many other vices, that is in 1965, but all those vices were put to rest by the then Prime Minister, something we don't have here in Kenya. Kenya is a country full of corruption. Right now in Kenya, even if you go to any police station for a little assistance, you must be asked to pay money for you to get any service. This one clearly shows that Kenya is very far away from becoming a Singapore of Africa. Under President William Ruto, this is a pipeline dream. Number 2, zero tolerance for corruption. Singapore made corruption extremely costly. Powerful anti-corruption laws, so they passed a very powerful anti-corruption laws, and they formed inquiries, independent anti-corruption agencies. So these agencies were dealing ruthlessly with anyone who was involved in corruption. In Kenya, such kind of agencies are there, but they are powerless. They are toothless bulldozers. They can speak, but they cannot execute anything. And then again, high salaries for public servants to reduce temptation. Singapore started paying their workers or their public servants high salaries. These high salaries enabled those workers not to steal from the government. Remember, in Kenya, majority of the public servants are paid very little money. That is why you find in government offices here in Kenya, corruption is very rampant. It is very difficult to get any service in this country without paying. Equal punishment regardless of status. In Singapore, if you are found engaging in corruption of any manner, you are to be punished ruthlessly regardless of your status. Even if you are the cousin of the Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, a brother, even a parent, if you were found to be corrupt, the punishment was equal. If it was 10 years in jail, it was equal. It applied across everybody in Singapore. But here in Kenya, you are told that huyo ni mkubwa. Yeah, this is a big person. Don't punish him. That one was not there in Singapore. This resulted in government efficient service delivery and investors' confidence. Now, by doing this, by punishing corrupt leaders, it enabled the foreign investors to come to Singapore and invest. But what is happening in our country, Kenya, right now? In Kenya right now, investors are afraid to come and invest here because of corruption. You employ foreigners come here, they invest, the workers steal from them, the government does not protect them, production costs has gone up, cost of electricity has gone up, so this one is discouraging investors to come and invest here in Africa. And then again, in Singapore, the Prime Minister worked with the best brains in that country, something which is lacking here. We have education dwarfs in our government, people who are forged certificates, people who have not gone to school are the ones making rules in our country, are the ones lecturing professionals on who is tribal and who is not tribal. That is very difficult for Kenya to attain the status of Singapore. Number 3, Singapore did so well in investment in education and skills. Singapore aligned education with economic needs, and they focused more on mathematics, science, and technical skills. Continuous skills in training for workers helped this country to attain the status it has today. This created a highly skilled and disciplined workforce, and each work was given in what we call merit-based system. Singapore rewarded competence and not connections. Unlike Kenya, right now, for you to get something, you must know somebody. Even in this government we have today, we have so many head of parastatals who are coming from the same ethnic community with our president, William Ruto. Remember, if you have been appointed based on your tribe, it is very difficult for you to work hard. You cannot work hard because even if you don't work hard, nobody will ask you, because you were appointed by the president and you come from the same ethnic community with the president. Nobody will ask you. Even if you do corruption, even if you do nepotism, nobody will ask you. Contrary with Singapore. Number 4, pro-business and open economy. Instead of protectionism, Singapore welcomed foreign investors, created world-class ports, airports, and infrastructure. And the most importantly, I want you to underline this. Singapore kept taxes low and regulations very clear. In this case, Singapore made sure that the taxes are very low. When taxes are very low, it is easy for one to even develop himself. And those taxes which were collected in Singapore were put into proper use. Unlike here in Kenya, people are overtaxed and their taxes are being misused. We see politicians moving around, especially those ones aligned with this government, moving around, giving people tokens, buying people during voting time, using that money. Then how can this country be transformed to Singapore? It is a pipeline dream, dead on arrival. This now positions itself as a global trade and financial hub. Multinational companies brought jobs, skills, and technology. So multinational companies brought jobs, skills, and technology to Singapore. This one helped this country to develop and become what it is today. Number 5, strategic urban planning and housing. The government solved housing early. Build affordable and high-quality public housing whereby over 80% of citizens owned homes. And then Singapore did something very interesting, which I don't know if it can happen here in Kenya. Mixed ethnic housing to prevent tribal divisions. Singapore has got 4 main racial groups, that is Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian. It made sure that when they are giving out these houses from the government, they gave them, they mixed those tribes together. There's no way that you could have find that somebody is maybe from a certain unit, a certain housing unit is owned by people from the same ethnic community. We understand that President William Ruto is trying on this thing called housing or affordable housing. But the method is using to achieve there, but the method is using to go there is not pleasing Kenyans. Why? Because he's overtaxing them, and then these houses are sold to Kenyans at a very expensive, at very expensive rate. Remember, the money used to build these houses is deducted from Kenyan salaries, and these houses are sold to the same people who have been taxed. Yani, you are taxed, and then this money that you have been taxed is then sold to you. This one did not happen in Singapore. The government of Singapore built houses using the government resources, and it gave these houses to people at, yani ile kitu tunasema kwa bei ya kutupa. Kwa bei ya kutupa. Number 6, discipline and rule of law and national values. Singapore enforced laws strictly. Clean cities, efficient transport, low crime, laws applied equally to everyone, strong and national values, that is discipline, hard work, responsibility, freedom existed, but order came first. What am I talking about? Singapore applied their laws equally. Singapore, the cities were very clean. Unlike here in Kenya, go to Nairobi, you find a sewage flowing in the middle of CBD. Sewage, raw sewage, coming from those buildings. The city is very dirty, especially downtown. Come to Nairobi suburbs, come to Eastlands, these many parts of Nairobi, very dirty. You cannot achieve, you cannot become like Singapore if your cities are dirty. Means of transport is unbearable. You can stuck in traffic jam for 2 hours and you are going for work. How can you become productive? Especially between October and December. Using this Jogoo Road to Nairobi, it was chaotic. Ngong Road, chaotic. Thika Road, chaotic. Then you are telling us about Singapore. That is a pipeline dream dead on arrival. Number 7, long-term planning over populism. Singapore avoided handouts without productivity, ethnic politics, short-term political excitement. Instead, it focused on economic productivity, national interests, future generations. This is self-explanatory. Singapore avoided the politics of tokenism. That is why it developed. Here in Kenya, politics of tokenism has taken center stage. Very funny. Very funny, ladies and gentlemen. Because here in Kenya, if you criticize the government, you are either threatened or you are called to State House to be given some money. We have seen even teachers going to State House to be given 10,000 shillings each. That is politics of tokenism. And if you want to go the Singapore way, then you have to avoid politics of tokenism. Stop bribing people to support the government. If indeed the government is sure that what is doing is the right thing, then why bribe people? And then number 8, national unity over division. Singapore made sure that the people in that country were all united and they spoke in one voice. Despite ethnic diversity, Singapore promoted Singaporean identity first, discouraged ethnic and religious politics, ensured fairness across communities. Unity was treated as a national asset. In Singapore, unity was treated as a national asset, something we don't experience here in Kenya. Thank you very much. I'm Honorable Don Rogers.